all the beautiful plums. Hey everybody, welcome to Second Wind Homestead. Today I'm canning up lots and lots of plums. I had a good friend give us two or three of these boxes actually, full of plums. I think they're 28 pounds a box. I've shared with a couple friends, but we have been canning our tushies off the last couple of days. So today, this video, what we're going to do is we are going to can up just straight plums, just plums and syrup. Let's get started. Alright, first thing I did, I've got my canner on the stove filled with water and jars. It is heating up. I'm waiting on it to come up to a good boil. I am canning in quart jars today. And then in this pan I have my syrup going. Today I am doing a light syrup. I don't like a ton of sugar with my fruit, so for one batch it is 5 1/4 cups of water and 2 1/4 cups of sugar for a light syrup. If you like a heavier, or there's even an extra light syrup, there are plenty of charts online. You can just look up, you know, syrups for canning fruit and it'll give you the measurements for the other ones. While I was getting the canner ready, Daniel stood over here and that is an 8-quart stainless steel mixing bowl. He has cut up plums. We just quartered them and took the pits out, washed them up really well. You can see where pits are sitting next to it for the compost. That's all you need. You can actually can plums whole if you want, or you can just half them and pit them. We went ahead and just quartered them. I can fit a little bit more in each jar. Alright, my canner is right about at boiling now. I've got my workstation over here all set up. I have my canning funnel, got my rings and my lids ready to go. I am also going to be adding, this is totally optional, I happen to have some on hand, so I'm going to use them. I have some dried orange slices. We're going to put 1 or 2 maybe of those in each jar. At the bottom before I load, I have all my plums right here. I have a small thing of vinegar and my cloth to wipe down the jar rims. I have my debubbler / headspace tool, and I have my jar lifter all ready to go. Also, on syrup, I learned yesterday when I canned quarts, I needed a double batch. So this is actually 10 1/2 cups of water and 4 1/2 cups of sugar, because I had to stop midway yesterday and make a whole nother batch of syrup to finish the plums. So I've got that going, so we're going to get started. Alright, just pulling a jar out of the canner, very carefully dumping the water out of it. I'm going to load it up. I'm going to do 2 slices of orange in the bottom. I'm just going to load it with plums. I'm trying to keep one hand remotely clean here. And usually, these were good sized plums. We've been fitting approximately 4 plums per quart jar, depending on, and we've got them quartered. Once you've got it pretty full, I just put my funnel in, and you want to fill with syrup. You want to end up with a 1/2 inch of headspace. So I will fill it up approximately to there. I like to fill it up about there. And then you want to definitely debubble. I slide down each side of the jar and kind of wiggle it towards the middle a little bit, and you can see the air bubbles popping up. Gently push them back down. See where I stand. I need to add a little bit to get up to my 1/2 inch. You get pretty good once you've done this for a while, eyeballing where your 1/2 inch or your 1/4 inch or whatever measurement you're looking for. Alright, once you've got it up at the headspace, I've got my vinegar over here, just dipping a corner of the towel. And you want to wipe the rim. Lid. Band. Fingertip tight means 3 fingertips until you're spinning the jar trying to tighten. That's all it, sorry guys. That's all it needs. And up and into the canner. I like to work 1 jar at a time so my jars stay nice and hot. And I'll pull out the next jar. And like I said, carefully. I'm not the most graceful of people. You can also, if it works better for you, some people like to heat their jars up in the oven or the dishwasher. Whatever works for you. This works for me. It's right here on my countertop. We're at limited space, so everything needs to do at least double duty, if not triple. So load the jar up. The jars are hot, but you can kind of wiggle in there a little bit. You don't want to crush them, but you just want to kind of fit them in as many as you can, because they will cook down as they process. Excuse me. And you don't want to just end up with like half a jar of plums and the rest is your syrup. I did have this all the way up to a full boil before I pulled it off the stove, so it could stay nice and hot for me while I worked on these. Just down each side. To wiggle it around a little bit. Shove my plums back down. Try and keep below that 1/2 inch. A tiny bit more in there. Alright. Wipe the rim off. Lid. Ring. Fingertip tight. Alright, I'm going to continue filling up the jars and meet you back here. Alright, all my jars filled, loaded in the canner. You want to make sure that you have at least 1 inch over the top of your jars. So I just use my measuring tool, and as long as it goes in farther than my last notch there, we're good. I can just get like about 1.25 inches with room in my canner. You will probably, on mine, to have enough water in it to sterilize the jars, I usually have to, when I pull them out to fill them, I usually have to dump at least one of the jars worth of water out, because the water displacement when you put it back in full would overflow my canner. I keep an extra little pot at the back and I dump it into there, and that way if I'm doing multiple batches in a day and I need to top the canner off later, I already have water. I haven't wasted anything, and because our water is very, very hard water, the first batch I run in a canner, the jars will have a really bad lime layer on them when I pull them out, but the subsequent batches come out great. So I don't want to have to add fresh tap water back in and have to deal with the lime again. So I save it, and that way when I'm running multiple loads I can top off. Alright, they're filled, at least 1 inch of water over the top. You put your lid back on. You want to bring it back up to boiling. Once you are at boiling, start your timer. It's, for me, for my altitude, for quarts, I have to do 30 minutes. So you will need to check if your altitude, I am under 1,000 feet above sea level. If you are higher than that, you'll have to check. There's tons of altitude charts online to see how much you need to increase your processing time. Me, it's 30 minutes for quarts at my altitude. So once this comes back up to a boil, I'll do 30 minutes and I'll bring you back when that's done. Alright, my 30 minutes is up on processing. I've taken the lid off, turned the heat off. You want to let it sit at least 5 minutes in the canner before you pull them out. You'll notice I have a lovely pink tinge in the canner. That means one of the jars at least has started to siphon out a little bit. I had this problem bad yesterday. I've never had it with anything else I've canned. Yesterday was really bad. I had pink everywhere. I have no idea. I don't know if it's with this tropical storm / hurricane coming through, if that's messing with pressure. The applesauce I canned yesterday didn't do it. I don't know if it's something to do with raw packing plums. I may have to go to start hot packing them and see if that makes a difference. I am not sure why. We'll just have to hope. I'm going to let mine sit at least 10 minutes in my canner before I pull them out, and hopefully we won't get massive back siphoning when I pull them out. So see you in a few minutes. Moment of truth. Let's hope they don't back siphon like crazy. I've let them sit. I let mine sit a good 10 minutes, maybe 15. The water's the same shade of pink, so hopefully we're good. Here we go. Leave a little room between your jars for airflow so they can cool down properly. Straight up and down. I don't ever tilt my jars when I pull them out. I don't want to take the risk of liquid splashing up into that seal and messing up my seal. The water on top will evaporate, or you can dot it up with a towel when they cool down a little bit. Make sure I leave room for all of my jars. Look how beautiful that is. Look at the color you get off of those plum skins in that syrup. They're absolutely beautiful. Alright, well so far, looking like I'm not getting any major back siphoning. Yesterday by this point I already had jars gushing syrup out. Yes, oh, I got a little bit here. I don't know if you can see it. This one's starting. Alright, you can see this one definitely got a little bit of back siphon. It doesn't seem to be continuing to do so. Hopefully, I said one reason I use a tray, a lipped tray, and a towel. You want the towel. You don't want to put a hot jar onto a cold surface. Your jar could shatter. So that is for temperature control. But I like a lipped pan also, so if I do have some issues, it's much easier to clean up. I'm not messing up a cabinet or anything. Hopefully we will get a good seal. If for some reason I do not, like yesterday's batch, I had one jar that did not seal. It goes into the fridge and you need to use it up, or you can repackage it into something that's freezer safe and freeze it for later use. I have one jar in the fridge, and that'll probably be a cobbler of some sort tonight. I'm really looking forward to that. But look how beautiful. Just let it sit here 12 to 24 hours. You do not want to mess with them. You just let them be. The seals should pop down. They will suck back down, and you will not be, once they cool, give them at least several hours before you even worry about seals. At 12 hours, check. Go ahead and check your jars. The seal should be all the way down. You shouldn't be able to flex the lid at all poking it. You can take your rings off, double check, make sure that seal is stuck, clean your jars up, label them, and they are ready to store. Thank you all for joining us today. Have a wonderful day.